Welcome, friend, to a tale woven from the dust and dreams of the Old West, where the wind hums soft secrets and the stars cradle the hopes of lonely hearts. Settle in, let the flicker of firelight ease your mind, and drift back to the Montana Territory of 1875, where a lonesome rancher named Clayton Harrow learned that destiny delivers its gifts in packages you don't always expect. Close your eyes if you like, and let this story carry you to the frontier, where love and family bloom in the wildest of places. Clayton Harrow was a man shaped by the land he called home. At 36, he was broad as a barn door, with hands calloused from roping cattle and a face weathered by sun and solitude. His ranch, nestled in a valley where the Bitterroot River carved a silver path through rolling grasslands, was his pride, a patchwork of pastures and a log cabin built with his own hands. But pride don't warm a bed or fill the silence. 10 years of ranching alone had left Clayton hollow, his dreams of a family fading like stars at dawn. His only company was a grizzled hound named Rusty and a herd of longhorns that lowed mournfully under the moon. In Miles City, the nearest town, folks whispered that Clayton was married to his land. But last spring, he'd taken a leap, penning a letter to a matrimonial agency in Chicago, seeking a mail-order bride. He wasn't picky, a kind heart, a strong back, someone to share the load and maybe laugh with over coffee. The agency sent word of a Miss Abigail Turner, a spinster of 28, fond of baking and eager for a new start. Her letters were brief but warm, promising to arrive on the September stage. Clayton spent weeks preparing, polishing the cabin's pine floors, carving a new chair for the table, even planting wildflowers by the porch to soften the rugged sprawl. The stage was due at noon, and Clayton stood at the Miles City depot, his best shirt starched stiff, his hat brushed clean. Rusty panted at his side, tail thumping the dust. The stage rolled in, wheels groaning, and the door swung open. Clayton's heart thudded, expecting Abigail's petite frame. Instead, a woman stepped down, older, maybe 35, with auburn hair pinned messily under a bonnet, her green eyes weary but fierce. Behind her tumbled 5 children, ranging from a toddler clutching her skirt to a lanky boy of 12, all wide-eyed and ragged. Their clothes were patched, their faces smudged, but they moved as a unit, like a flock of sparrows. "You Mr. Harrow?" the woman asked, her voice steady despite the chaos at her heels. Clayton blinked, his dreams of Abigail crumbling. "Yes, ma'am." "You ain't Miss Turner." She straightened, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "I'm Hannah Caldwell, widow. Abigail was my cousin. She took sick, typhoid, died 2 weeks back. Agency sent me instead. Said you needed a wife, and she glanced at the children, who stared at Clayton like he might sprout horns. "We needed a home." Clayton's throat tightened. 5 children? He'd wanted a partner, not a ready-made brood. "Ma'am, I ain't got room for all this." Hannah's eyes hardened, but her voice stayed calm. "I know it's a shock, Mr. Harrow. It's a shock to us too. Lost my husband to a mining accident last year, then our home to debt. Abigail was our last hope. I got nowhere else to go, and these young uns need a roof. Give us a chance, 1 month. I'll work hard, cook, mend, whatever you need. If it don't suit, we'll leave." The children watched, silent. The boy, Caleb, held a baby girl who chewed her fist, her eyes big as saucers. Something in their faces, hope mixed with fear, stirred a memory of Clayton's own childhood, orphaned young and left to scrape by. He sighed, rubbing his neck. 1 month. Barn's got space for now. Let's go. The ride to the ranch was quiet, save for the creak of the wagon and the chatter of the younger ones, Lily, the toddler, Emma, 6, Ben, 8, and Sarah, 10. Caleb, the eldest, sat stiff, eyeing Clayton like a guard dog. Hannah held Lily, her gaze fixed on the horizon, where mountains loomed like silent sentinels. Rusty trotted alongside, sniffing the newcomers with cautious interest. The ranch was a shock to the Caldwells. The cabin was sturdy but small, with 2 rooms and a loft. The barn smelled of hay and leather, its stalls empty save for Jericho, Clayton's gelding. Hannah didn't flinch. She set to work, scrubbing pots, mending curtains, and cooking a stew from Clayton's meager stores. The children pitched in, Sarah and Ben hauling water, Emma sweeping, Caleb splitting wood with a focus that impressed Clayton. Lily toddled after Rusty, giggling when the hound licked her face. Days turned to weeks, and the ranch came alive. Hannah's cooking filled the air with scents of cornbread and beans, her laughter softening the cabin, but shadows lingered. Caleb, protective and proud, bristled at Clayton's authority. "You ain't our pa," he snapped one evening, when Clayton corrected his handling of a calf. Hannah intervened, her voice firm but kind. "Caleb, mind your manners. Mr. Harrow's giving us a chance." Later, by the creek, Hannah shared her story. Her husband, Tom, had been a dreamer, chasing silver in Colorado till a cave-in took him. "Left us with nothing but each other," she said, tossing a pebble into the water. "I ain't here for pity, Clayton. I want a life for my kids." Clayton nodded, his own past spilling out. "Lost my folks young. Built this place to prove I could. Thought a wife would fill it. Didn't expect all this." Hannah smiled faintly. "Life's funny that way." Trouble rode in with the first frost. A band of rustlers, led by a scar-faced outlaw named Jed Crane, had been plaguing ranches along the Bitterroot. One night, hoofbeats woke Clayton. He grabbed his rifle, stepping onto the porch to find the corral gate swinging open, half his herd gone. Caleb burst from the barn, face pale. "I saw Mr. Harrow." 3 men, headed west. Clayton saddled Jericho, Hannah at his side, her eyes blazing. "I'm coming. I can shoot." She held Tom's old Winchester, her grip steady. Caleb insisted on joining, clutching a shotgun. "They're my family too," he said, and Clayton saw himself in the boy's stubborn fire. They tracked the rustlers to a canyon, the moon casting eerie shadows. Crane's men were camped, unaware, their stolen cattle penned nearby. Clayton signaled for stealth, but Caleb, eager to prove himself, crept too close, snapping a twig. A shout rang out, followed by gunfire. Clayton dove, shielding Hannah, his rifle barking. Hannah fired back, her bullets precise, dropping one rustler. Caleb, shaking but resolute, winged another. Crane, cursing, spurred his horse into the dark, leaving his men and the cattle behind. The ride home was silent, the weight of survival heavy. At the ranch, Hannah bandaged a graze on Clayton's arm, her touch gentle. "You didn't have to risk yourself," she said. "You're worth it," he replied, the words raw. Caleb, watching, nodded, a truce forged in battle. The month's end came, but Hannah didn't speak of leaving, and Clayton didn't ask. Winter brought new rhythms, Hannah teaching the children letters, Clayton carving toys for Lily, Caleb branding his first calf. One snow, she leaned in, their kiss soft as snowfall, the children cheering, except Caleb, who smirked, already knowing. They married in spring, under a cottonwood, the river singing blessings. The ranch grew, a haven for strays and kin, the wildflowers blooming brighter each year. By 1883, Clayton looked out at his family, Hannah kneading dough, Caleb roping with skill, Sarah reading to Emma and Ben, Lily chasing Rusty. The agency's mistake had been no mistake at all, but a gift wrapped in chaos. The frontier, vast and unforgiving, had taught him that love arrives not as you plan, but as you need, a family forged not by blood, but by hearts choosing to stay. So, friend, as the fire dims and your eyelids grow heavy, let the Bitterroot's song lull you. In the Old West, where the wind carries hope and the stars guard dreams, the greatest blessings come unbidden, in packages you never dared expect. Sleep deep, and may your own family find you, wherever the trail leads.